Hello, everyone. How are we doing? I haven't done a Wednesday stream in ages. But we're here. We're live. We've done it. We're back. I thought I'd have something to do today. I don't have something to do today, so I've had other things to do today, so I've been doing other things to do today. One thing I haven't done today is update this. This should be updated. It should be... Yeah. It should say POW. Which is pretty sick. And we've got another thing to update as well, because Edward, before the stream even began, has been super legendary and has gifted one of the finest Warhipster memberships. And not only that, managed to snipe Lucio as well, who says, "Hey, I'm new here. Has anyone played Darkwater? I received my box recently." I have played Darkwater. It's great fun. It's fantastic. I love it. It's a wonderful game. But hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? It's Wednesday. Midway through the week-ish, kind of, technically. Not really. Nobody ever counts the weekend, so yes, we are midway. My glasses are filthy. Get them cleaned so we can see what we're doing. It's always a good idea. Oh my god. I feel like a new man. Yes. Yes. Ghosts, eh? Do you know what? I painted quite a lot of ghosts on the channel. Quite a few ghosts, in fact. We've done a number of ghost videos. We've done Night Haunt. They're the technically difficult ghosts. There's lots and lots of things for the Night Haunt. There's lots of things going on with the Night Haunt. We've done simple ghosts. With things that aren't even meant to be ghosts, but they are in fact ghosts. And today we've got super simple ghosts that are in fact ghosts. So it's going to be a bit of a continuation of Monday, but I've had a lot of fun today. I painted up 9 Army of the Dead already. So, well, 10. I've done the whole 10. So that's exciting. It's very cool. What are you guys working on tonight? Wednesday, in Germany we call it Bergfest. Time to celebrate with a beer. I like it. I like it. Pretty tired. Much better day. Good, good. Have I missed much? You've not missed anything at all, Aiden. We've only just started. 5 minutes in. It's the pitter patter of the intro. We are a mere 21 models away from 102 months. Which is crazy. And it does then mean that we're probably on track to hit another 600. Which is grim. Sick all day in bed? No! Working on a Stormcast scheme currently. Shiny and dark is the goal. Posted first, work in progress. Where have you posted that, Mini Painting Dad? Have you posted it in the Discord? Yes, you have. Some attempts from my Stormcast Eternal scheme today. Trying to hot a spot right between Shiny and Yet Worn. Hit a spot, I see, yes. I think you've nailed it. That's definitely between Shiny and Worn. Looks great. It's got a lovely that on the eagle's head. It's got that peak of the silver. Looks great. That's great. It's fantastic. Well done. Don't make me wish I was painting Stormcast. It's not fair. Showing off with your Stormcast Eternals. So yeah. Let me show you guys. Let's have a little look, shall we? Let's just check that everything is above board. Yes, it is. How many models painted does Smaug count towards? Only the one, I'm afraid. He's just a model on a base. He doesn't pop off for gaming purposes. He has no additional things. He is just a single solitary model. Hello, Captain Manrings. So yeah. Here's what I've done today. Bilbo is on Smaug's base, is he not? He's not in his own base. If Bilbo is on his own separate base, then it counts as 2. No, it's one model. It's one model. It's all on one base. You don't have to listen to me, Snowy. You can have your own rules. That's how I would class it, though. Because a Primarch is technically a Primarch in 30k is 2 models, because there's the display base, which is a model, and then there's the Primarch, which is a model. Are these Gaunt's ghosts? Yes, why not? I have the King of the Dead to paint, so that's perfect. Yes. So, this is what we've done today. This is the making sure the scheme works. I think the scheme really works. I really like it. And like I said, I'm a bigger advocate for painting ghosts. I think they're fun. And so, because we've done the Warriors of the Dead, we're actually going to do a little bit of filming tonight. I don't know if we'll get through them. It is quick, but the King of the Dead does take on a little bit of extra. So the things that we're going to be painting tonight are a Herald of the Dead. We have one right there. We have another Herald of the Dead. One right there. We have a Warrior of the Dead with banner, which is metal. We have a Rider of the Dead, which is metal. Hence why it will not stay down. It's just going to do that. And then, of course, we do have the King of the Dead as well. So we're going to film some of this tonight. Maybe we'll get it all done. Maybe we won't. We shall have to see. Maybe this will stay on if I do that. Oh, yes, it does. Are the plastic models really clear plastic? No, there is a version of them that is clear plastic. But the official ones are your regular plastic. I have the clear plastic ones. Here is a clear plastic one. He's fun, isn't he? So if you're ready to come on this journey with me of painting ghosts. And if you haven't done this before on, like, you don't have to do this on the Army of the Dead. Of course you don't. You could do this on anything. We're going to talk a little bit about concept armies tonight and why I think they are something everybody should do at some point in their time. And I've done one here on the channel. You can find it. The Spoopy Ghost Admech concept army. And what it is it's a mechanic for helping you get through. I think for me personally, the reason I did it in the first place was to paint an army in like a day and be happy with the result, and it looks something unique. And I think it's a really, really, really good, a really, really good thing. Still annoyed GW cancelled my pre-order for the clear plastic as they overestimated the supply. They go for ridiculous money on eBay now. I might have a spare frame of clear plastic Ricky Drinks paint if you would like it. I don't have spare of everything, but I might have a spare frame. So I'll tell you what we'll do, actually. Before we jump into painting the Army of the Dead, why don't I show you what I mean? We'll do this alongside. Let me just give this model a dust. Because it's very dusty. And you'll see what I mean about this. So like a spooky ghost admech. Something that we've done in the past. So, alongside the Army of the Dead, what we'll do tonight is I'll show you the concept of this as we go. And I'll show you on this Eldar Guardian I've had sculling about for ages. So, what I've come up with for the Army of the Dead, those of you who are around on Monday will know this, but we start with a roughly 2 parts Briar Queen Chill to 1 part Lamy medium mix over a grey sear undercoat. You could go for white scar, but this is a grey sear undercoat. So we're just going to apply this now over the top of the entirety of our Guardian. And then once he's once this Guardian's all fully base coated, we'll shoot some of the actual video for the Army of the Dead. But you can see how this kind of the idea of the concept can come through on a model like this. We also get to enjoy Briar Queen Chill for a little bit longer because it is such a lovely colour. We don't really have to be all that neat here. I just am because it's sort of baked into my programming now. I tried to do a little while ago. I tried to film a little short about how to paint contrast paints wrong, and I could my something about like the muscle reflex of how I do it just kept kicking in. And I was like, God damn it. Here we go. So we'll leave this to dry, and then we'll come back to it in a minute. My lawyers will be in touch for royalties. If you like, we can do that. We can get we can we can play that game if you like, Edward. Okay, let's do it. Let's go like this. So these are the 5 models we're going to be working on, and we're just going to do them all at the same time, because whilst there is a difference between the King of the Dead and the rest of them, it doesn't make sense to do him separately to these guys, because these are all pretty much the same, and then we're just going to add and embellish things over the top. So, a little different to how we normally do these videos, but there we go. So, we will focus on him mostly though, but then we will flip to things like the banners and stuff as and when we need to. So, the colour we're going to be using first, and we'll crash zoom just a little bit, there we go, and then we'll get it into focus. The colour we're going to be using first is a roughly 2 parts Briar Queen Chill to 1 part Lamy Medium Mix, and we're going to apply this over the top of the entirety of the king. Now he does obviously have his red robe, but we need this as a kind of spectral base, because when we come to apply different shades over the top, we're basically getting sort of the much faded version of the shade as it kind of should be. So red over the top of this will look slightly different, as opposed to using quite a high impact red, or indeed doing like a red first and then applying this over the top. So you'll see what I mean once we get there. But for now, we'll just get this all over the top, and then once that's done, we'll come back. There we go. (2026) models painted 2. Nice. Well done. Because I'm doing the 20 minutes a day thing, I am learning. Well, if this helps everybody out there, if I had a regular job and a regular life, then the amount of models I would have painted so far this year is 5. Not 79. But because this is my job, that's why it's 79. Okay, Briar Queen Chill is on around the whole model. So that's going to take a little while to dry. So we're just going to move on to the next ones. Yeah. Aidan, thank you very much for being a member for 18 months. I've wondered what was the first mini GW sent you. The first mini, I can never remember exactly which one it was. Whichever video came out first, it's either Drecky Flint or Rumil and Orofin. Because the very first thing they sent me was Contrast Wave 2. That was the very first thing I was ever sent. But I'm pretty sure one of those two was the first video that I made from the first model that was sent. I'm fairly confident in that. And thus began the great saga. They sent me something, I must paint it. Would I have normally done that for the channel? No. Well, I wouldn't have normally bought it, that was the thing. But yeah, one of those two. One of those two is the first... Well, one of those three, I guess. And my, what a learning curve it was. See, one of the things I'd taken for granted before was that when you don't get sent stuff by Games Workshop ahead of time to make videos on, you don't have a ton of picture references on how to do it. So sometimes there'll be a model which there will only be one picture of it from one angle and you can't see what the colour of its cloak is. So you just have to make your best guess. Now invariably if it's part of an army that's a little bit uniform, you are able to kind of use your experience to figure out, oh, it's probably going to be red. But a great example of that was Kato Sicarius. When he was previewed, there were no pictures of his back. So there was no telling like what the layout of his cloak was, what colour it was supposed to be. You know, the important things when you're trying to make a video. And that's something that I learned very early on. And sometimes I get it right, and sometimes I get it horribly wrong. But it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't have to be 100% accurate every time. Subban and Khan was another one. You couldn't see what his shield looked like. Do the minis at GW send you not come in their boxes then? Where there is all the reference art on the back. No, they do. They do come in the proper boxes. But what I would challenge you to do is next time you're looking at a box, you'll find some occasionally that don't have additional images. It's all the same ones that you've seen before. So it's like it's just the like the preview images that they've shared already on Warcom. So sometimes you have to go and look at the little video that they put out when they first preview it, as an example. And then sometimes when you're doing a live stream on it, you get frustrated when you see them previewing a bunch of models and they're only showing the front of the bloody model. And it's like, what's wrong, Games Workshop? Did they not paint the back? Was there not a rumor that GW only paint the front half of some of them minis prior to showcasing? I'm sure I've heard some ex-employees say that. I believe that much is true sometimes for things like preview images in codexes of alternate schemes, because it's not a high priority, right? You want to make sure that the box art scheme is done, and then let's say they do just go off of one I've done recently, and I know this isn't the case because there's a large full page spread of it. But when you see, like, in a battle tome, all of the Nighthaunt processions, for example, it might be that some of those, if they've just got one model of, like, a chain rasp painted as a different Nighthaunt procession, it's entirely likely that they've only painted the front half of it because they don't need to do the back, because you're never going to see the light of day with that one. I'm so tired today, guys. I didn't sleep very well last night. And I woke up early. And yesterday was a bit... I don't know what it was, and I'm sure a bunch of you feel the same way sometimes, but yesterday I was just very sad for not really any reason I could put my finger on. I was just in a bit of a mood, you know? I was in a grump. And I couldn't tell you why. I don't think there was an underlying cause. I was just in a grump. So it's a good job that didn't happen today, because I almost definitely wouldn't have gone live. I'd have been like, no, I'm too much of a bad mood today. I think being as tired as I am today is probably as a consequence of that. Or maybe they're completely unrelated. That's a healthy way to think about everything that's going on in your own body, isn't it? It's all unrelated, mate. Weather blues if you have had as much rain as we have had in the northeast of England. Yeah, we've had quite a lot of rain. It's been irritating from a priming perspective. I haven't been able to safely guarantee any day that I'm going to be able to do priming, which has been a bit frustrating. Yeah, so the weather's been grim. January's always hard as a social media person. I think we've talked about that in the past. Chaos Battle Force pre-orders arriving tomorrow to cheer everyone up. Which oh, the 4, yes, I know the ones. Technically, they're not supposed to get to you until Saturday unless you've got a really, really nice local gaming store that's giving them out early. But who am I to tell on you? I can fully understand that. It is about minus 20 to minus 30 degrees Celsius where I live, so spray priming is terrible. Yeah. Yeah, it's not been so much the cold, it's been the rain. Like I prime all of my stuff, and I'm gonna film it, by the way, for anybody who's been waiting for a priming video. I've bought the apparatus with which to do it and look like a plonker, and I think I talked about this on Monday as well, but I am gonna film it and put a little short out of how I prime miniatures, because it doesn't need a 25-minute video. Pretty difficult to make a 25-minute video out of that. So yeah, I prime at the top of my stairs, because I live in an above ground. It's a second floor flat, basically. So you have to go up some external stairs to get to it. So when I prime, I open the front door and prime out the door. And so when it's really windy and wet, it is just impossible, because you get more of the primer on yourself than you do on the model, trying to get it out there, because all the wind just comes in and blows it back in your face, which is funny, but it's not funny when you're trying to prime your next set of videos and you haven't got anything else you could be doing at that point. So, first world problems, eh? Whinge, whinge, whinge. The weather won't let me play with my toys. Whinge, whinge. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Welcome in if you're watching. 99,608. 392 to go. We are one good Warhipster week away from our goal. So it might be Wednesday next week if we have a really good week. If we have a really bad week, which we might, because the content this week is Age of Sigmar. It might be tail end of next week, where it finally happens. And I have filmed a video for it. I talked about this again. I also talked about this on Monday. I filmed a video where we went back to basics. There's a video that I've got to write it, because I've got to write. I want to I want to talk about what it all means to me as I do it. But I've filmed a video. So it'll be a kind of half diary / half how to paint. It's kind of a clever blend of the two. Waiting for your new Defiler video. Well, that entirely relies on Games Workshop sending me the stuff. And they haven't sent me any stuff for a little while. Maybe they don't love me anymore. We're going in a different direction, Josh. So anything before 3 and a bit years ago was from your pocket, like the dragon video I'm following right now? Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Everything that is pre-Contrast Wave 2 was all my own doing. Whilst that doesn't happen as much anymore, it still happens occasionally. Like this video right now is a combination of things I have bought and things that have been gifted to the channel. But at no point was it free. Josh looks over at the Nightbringer. Yeah, that was over a month ago now, the Nightbringer. That's a long time in Games Workshop language. I have serious doubts that this is going to be enough paint to get through an entire rider. But we shall meet it in battle nonetheless. Boo, 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 boo. Yep. Gonna have to thin a bit more down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that should definitely be enough. Do you have any tips on how to stay motivated to paint? I have a lot to paint and I like to paint, but sometimes I stop painting for 1 to 2 weeks. I think the... Would you like the funny answer or the real answer? Or would you like both? And if you want both, which way around do you want it? AOS week of content, my favourite. Mine too. They're my favourite to make. Both and surprise me. Alright. So, I'll just tell you. The funny answer is the best way to get motivated to paint miniatures is to make painting miniatures your full-time job. And then if you don't paint the miniatures, you won't be able to afford to eat because you won't have any videos to put out. And if you don't have any videos to put out, you won't have any ad revenue to get. And if you don't have any ad revenue to get, you won't be able to afford things because you're too much of a coward to constantly ask people to be subscribers. Now that's what's worked for me. That's how I get all the models painted that I do. However, the best advice I can give you is that if you don't want to paint, you don't want to paint. And you shouldn't try and force it. However, if you're feeling like you should be painting and you want to be painting, but you just don't see, you don't really want to, you don't know, you don't feel up for it, you're not in the mood for it or whatever. The best thing to do is to look for something, I have found, is to look for something hobby adjacent and do that instead. So even if it's something as much as playing Space Marine 2 or, particularly if it's a Warhammer hobby, playing Space Marine 2, listening to an audiobook, you know, even just like to a certain extent, like doom scrolling on Instagram and seeing what other people are up to can also be quite inspirational at times. Just going out and visiting the store or a local club that's, you know, adjacent to what you're doing, that's also a good idea. Because you can find routes of inspiration to get things done by coming at it from a different way. Now, one of the easiest things to do is if you're a big fan of Lord of the Rings, well, do you know what you do? You throw on Lord of the Rings. You watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and you laugh and you cry and you whoop and whistle your way to glory as you're going and watching the greatest trilogy ever committed to film. That's easy. Then, there's a little bit more of a mechanics detail to it. How many models can you see right now that aren't finished? Because the amount of models that you might be able to see in your eye line or in your peripheral vision that are unfinished, each one of them might be adding a burden to the idea that you've got this crushing weight of expectation to get everything done. So one of the best things you can do is tidy them away. Don't tidy them out of reach, but tidy them away. And just have 1 to 5 models out that need doing. You know they're still there, but you can't see them. What you can see in front of you is just one thing. So you know that that's what you need to focus on. And there's all these kind of little bits and pieces that can really help. I feel that crushing weight of expectation when... I mean, let's face it, like if Games Workshop loves me and wants to send me the 11th edition core box, what I won't have is I won't have 49 miniatures on my desk in front of me, knowing that I've got to paint them all. Because doing 1 won't feel like it's making a dent. Doing 2, doing 3, doing 4, I'm still not making any dents. And when you look at something like Darkwater, which had, I want to say, is it 7 heroes? I've already forgotten. That's really bad. It had 49... There's 49 miniatures in that box, right? I think there's 7 heroes with a companion, Whisper. So there's 8 hero models. So you can get all of them done. You've still got 41 to go. And you can do all of the bad guy heroes as well. So that's Gelgus Pust, Mulgoth the Cleaver, Belga the Sistwitch. You could do the 2 Cankerborn, and you could do Shaman Foulhoof. You've done another 6. So now you've done 14. There are still 35 to go. So the thing to do is to, with a box like Darkwater, is what I was doing. And behind me, on my other chair, is where I would leave all of the models in a box out of sight. They would be behind me. And what I'd have in front of me, here, would be just the thing that I had to do. And so I'm able to blast through it and get it done. And then I can put the finished one off to one side. And that sits there as like, okay, now I'm going to add friends to you. And now I'm going to add, move things into that corner. That alone is one of the best things that you can do. I would also say batch painting in batches of 5 can help with motivation, but not batch painting can also help. Like just doing 1. Do you know if the Riverblades are their own separate faction within the nations like Deathwing in DA, or are there different ones within each nation's colours? There should be different ones within each nation's colours. The way Lumineth is set up is that there are multiple different temples. You have the Huracan Temple, the Alarith Temple, and so on and so forth. And they're named after the elements, I believe. And each great nation will have its own temples within that, which will then be painted, which will then be in the colours of that great nation. So Yggdrasil Riverblades aren't all blue; they are Riverblades of the Yggdrasil Temple, and there might be a lot of them in, Lake Town, but there won't be a lot of them in Mountain Town. If you see what I mean. Well, I see like 350 unpainted minis. Most of them are MESBG minis. So that's the thing, God Shady. What I would say is, if you can, try and put a visual block between the majority of them, chuck on the film, and then paint 1 or 2, and you'll be surprised. It'll start to click, and you'll be like, oh baby, oh we're cooking. GW should be sending you every new miniature, though I'd be concerned for your mental health. I don't play the game, I just collect and paint, and I use your videos as a catalogue, so thank you. Well, I would love for them to send me every single miniature Ventura, Chris. They don't. They send me quite a few. But I'd love for them to send me every single one. I mean, what I would love to do is I would love to hire somebody to help me and to double the amount of videos we can do. But we are so far away from ever being able to do that. Okay. So, now that we've done all of that, what we can do is we can pop back to our Eldari miniature. So this is our Guardian. Let's go to the overhead. There it is. So there you go. You can see it's the same colour as King of the Dead right now. So it's looking appropriately ghostly. But what we're going to do is we're going to shade it in the same way we're going to do the ghosts. And the ghosts that we're going to use 3 paints at once here, but we're going to create 2 mixes and 1 without. It'll make sense why in a minute. So we're going to be doing Poxwalker and Coelia Green Shade, and we're going to thin those roughly 1-to-1 mix. And then we're also going to do Null Noil over the top. But it's going to be like a single brush load. But I'll show you on the Guardian before we get to the brass tacks. Think of using Barrow Knights and Hexwraith parts to make some ghostly questing knights. What do you think? Absolutely. It'll definitely work. For sure, Niall. One and two. Let me go. One and two. And then we grab one and two. And one and two of Lamia medium. Mix those with the shades. There we go. And then we just attack the model with it. So this first one, so what we're going to do here is we're going to apply Coelia green shade over, like really roughly over the top of it. So this is the thinned down Coelia green shade. Like this. I'm just going to throw it on there willy-nilly. Like that. And then we're going to wash the brush. That doesn't really matter if we do. We're going to grab the Poxwalker. I'm going to go over the other leg like that. Get it all on there. Throw this down. Keep throwing this down. Grab a bit of that Coelia green shade. So there's a slight shift in the tone. It's not too much. It's enough to provide just a little bit of variation, as you can see. I skipped a step here on this one because it's less obvious to do this. Do it on these guys. For the other ghost, there is a next step, which is to use Targor Raid Shade over like the Rusted Chainmail and stuff, but we don't have that here on this Guardian, so we're just not doing that here. So there we go. We just leave that to dry for a little bit. Anaxunamu, says Joe. Hello, Joe. The answer is yes. Once stream is done. Okay, so here's what we do next. Is we hop across to this, and then what we do is we hit the record button. But thank you very much for the £2, Joe. Yes. So with all that Briar Queen Chill and Lamia medium applied and fully dry, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Targor Raid Shade and we're going to apply this over top of any metal work that we want to kind of still have a bit of a different kind of vibe to it. So this is mostly going to be things like chainmail. We are going to also apply this, in the case of the King of the Dead, over the top of the sword, and we're going to apply this over the top of his crown as well. But when it comes to the sword, we're not going to kind of leave it over the top of the whole thing. So we're just going to apply a little bit of it over top of the cross guard on the pommel. Like so. And then over the blade, we just apply this like so. And we can wash the brush, get rid of the water, and then just kind of wick off most of it. Like that. And like that. Boom. I love how chat goes silent when I film. Hold your breath. Oh Lord, he's doing it. He's doing the thing. He said the line. Lovely. So I'm going to go across and keep doing that. In the past, I got my motivation to paint when I watched a video from my favourite Warhammer YouTuber. You are my favourite. Aw. But in the moment, I help my local store with Pokemon TCG, so I don't have time to watch YouTube. That's perfectly fine. That's very kind of you. That's quite funny how you asked me what's a good way of getting over the painting block, and at no point did I say, have you tried watching one of my videos? Oh, it's great to have self-confidence, you know. You are my favourite too, just don't tell Joe and Liam. I won't. It's okay. Terrible self-promo, Josh, lol. No, I'm really bad at it. I am historically really bad at self-promotion. It's because I have full, like, hardcore imposter syndrome. I don't see why anyone should support me at all, and I don't understand why any of you would. Because I'm just some guy that bimbles about on the internet using his contrast paints. And yet, you all do, and I'm immensely grateful for it. Josh is my favourite. Joe's my favourite. I saw you had a short-lived solo YouTube streaming career, Joe. You did very well. I'm painting my Ultramarines using your original Ultramarines tutorial. Please results. But was there a reason why you stopped using Talisar Blue as the pre-shade? Yeah, because it's just slightly too warm. Assaman Blue and Talisar Blue, when you kind of, if you look at them like separately, they don't look like there's a huge amount of difference to them, but there is a slight difference in temperature. Assaman Blue is just a little bit colder, and Ultramarines Blue generally is a little bit colder. So it's like orders of it's minusculely different in terms of like the benefits of doing it with Assaman. Either is more than appropriate. It's just I moved to Assaman Blue because it was just slightly the right temperature for me. Of course, the point of that is kind of moot these days because I often put the stage in where I glaze over the top anyway. So, you know, it's kind of a bit like, well, does it really matter? Which is why if you do the Macragge Blue glaze over the top, just to smooth out any mistakes, you won't really notice much of a difference at all anyway. Joe's the captain of the channel now. Nice. So I hope you're looking forward to... If you're the captain of the channel now, I hope you're looking forward to watching Joe and I play Battlefield on stream. Let's just do that. Why not? This is probably where I should probably do some begging. But I'm so bad at it and I don't like doing it, so I don't. I thought it was because you heard I knocked my Talisar Blue over and only had Assaman left. Oh, I wish I was that prescient. When's the Tech Marine out? I don't know. It's not far away, though. It's been previewed a bunch. So now we leave that Targor Raid Shade to fully dry. Alright. I'm going to do something slightly different. For our Guardian. What we're going to do here, for him, is we're going to add a little bit of a glow to some parts of the Guardian. So we're going to take some Tesseract Glow. And we're going to apply this inside the eyes. Like that. And we will also apply this over the top of the cable. I have another cool little idea for him. Coming soon. All right. So, for our King of the Dead and our Warriors of the Dead, we're going to now add a little bit of sort of dirt and stuff into it. With all that Targor Raid shade applied, what we're then going to do is take some Athonian camo shade, and we're going to apply this over top of these kind of, well, I'm not sure what it is, but it's some form of armor for the King of the Dead. And we're also going to apply this kind of in a similar way we did with the Targor Raid shade on the sword. We're going to apply this over top of the banners in a very similar way. So we take this Athenian camo shade first. We'll apply this over top of these little bits here. There we go. However, for the banners, what we're going to do is a little bit of a blend type thing. So we're just going to throw this Athenian camo shade over the top of the flag here, like that. Wash the brush, and then towards the bottom of the banner, we're just going to disturb it, fuss it and muss it. And get most of it off. Just like that sort of thing. Same thing on the back. Wash the brush. And then fuss it and muss it like that. we go. Got one more banner to do. Alright. Right, there's one last thing to do on the King of the Dead before we do the big shade, which is to do the red. So let's do it. And so with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Berserker Bloodshade. And we're going to apply this over top of, just on the King of the Dead, his red robes. Pachow! So to make sure that that is also red. Yes, it is. Is it all red? No, that bit isn't. Okay, yes, that's fine. Boo, 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 boo. The footage I have seen of the Tech Marine in action for Space Marine 2 is it's crazy good. I haven't seen it fighting many Thousand Suns, but it seems to go through Tyranids like a knife through butter. Okay. Marvelous. Good evening, Chris. Can you even still get the Riders of the Dead for this faction on the GW store? Yes. Yes, you can. Okay. Okay. Are you going to be picking up any of the MESBG made to order coming up, Josh? Okay, so this is a good time. This is a good opportunity for me to beg. I would really, very, very definitely, very much like to get my hands on Weathertop, the Watchtower of Amonsul, and Amonhen. However, as it stands right now, I probably can't get them. So, if you'd like to help me live my dream, you could consider becoming a member or gifting some memberships to the channel. to help me be able to afford to buy them. Yeah, no, I would really like to get them, and paint them up and do some special like battle reports with them, because I mean I've wanted the Weathertop is like, you know, like when I was a kid, I remember watching the film and in the cinema, and I remember them getting to Weathertop, and then it is just a moment in cinematic history for me personally, where the cinematography, the lighting, the performances, the music, all of it combines to create this moment of incredible personal magic that I will envy anybody getting to see for the first time on the big screen. But most importantly, like, it just lives in my brain forever, and I want to be able to redo that. So yeah, I want to be able to do that on the channel for you guys. That shit would be so cool. It would make my little heart burst with pride. So yes, is the answer. As to whether or not I can afford to do so, we shall find out. This guy's still drying, unfortunately. Soon. Soon. How commonly would you say you look back at your painted models? I don't mean your favourites or centerpieces, but like the random infantry / beast you painted just because you were sent it. What do you mean by look back? How much do you think they're going to be? Well, so Weathertop is... I'm not sure about Amon Hen. It probably is, but I think they were both Forge World resin. So I would guess they'll be in the £200-300 mark. That's the very pessimistic prediction. But they were both Forge World resin. I can't imagine that they're not going to be Forge World resin this time around. How many models do you keep? Do you still have the company heroes you did? I don't still have those because I gave them as a birthday present. But I keep, I'd say 99% at the moment. It's a good way to get 5 or 6 ring wraiths that attack at Weathertop. Set. That's 5 ring wraiths, I think. I think you get 5. But yeah, I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be pretty spicy. I can't remember if Amon Hen was Forge World resin. I think it was. Weathertop, I know for a fact that was Forge World resin. The rest of it will be metal models. And I reckon they'll be 30, 35, 40 quid for each of the sets. I'm not sure about those Classic 3 Hunters. They might have been made into Finecast at some point. But the Ambush at Amon Hen and the Attack at Weathertop set and the Classic Fellowship in metal, they should all be metal still. Boo, 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 boo. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to try and finish off our little Ghostly Guardian before we do anything else, but we'll see what the time is once we've done that. So we'll finish the Ghostly Guardian. So what we're going to do next for our Ghostly Guardian is we're going to dry brush him with White Scar. That's what we're going to do. So here he is. So we're now going to dry brush this guy with our White Scar. There we go. So over the new Rise of Rohan that you're stopping G-Blade from releasing, what do you think is going to be the next refresh for MESBG now that we've had Shelob? Oh god, I have no idea. I wish I had the knowledge. So. Slightly different, because we've got the green in there as well. But there is a ghostly Eldari. However, what I think we can do is we can add just a little pop of colour. And we can pick something like... If we were to make this a... if we were to make this a... like a model from Age of Sigmar, that's the word I'm looking for. What we could do here, for example, and I'm going to do it now, is this little cable tie that's around the arm. I'm going to take some Luxion purple. I'm just going to apply this over top of it. And if we had any spirit stones, we could give them a good glow as well. But what I think would be really cool for this one would be to also give it like a little spattering of some blood. You know what I mean? You picking up my vibe? Give it a proper, like, haunted, vengeful look. And I think the best way to do that will be to take our blood for the blood god. And maybe a stippling brush. I don't have a comb or a toothbrush. Can blood splatter on a ghost? Why not? It's my theme. you could leave that there, as it were. You could just leave that as it was. But if we went for, like, the slightest bit of just a little... like a... It's not doing the thing, is it? No. It'd be better if I had a springier brush. I don't really have a springier brush nearby, that's the problem. Could you use your airbrush for that? Absolutely not. Anyway, either way. No disasters on stream. Exactly. I try to avoid them. Just as a vibe. Obviously you would have the base done as well. And like a guardian. A guardian isn't always the greatest example of where you can get that sort of thing, because there's not like a ton of recessed detail. But for example, in and amongst these warriors of the dead, see how it starts to like that. I mean, it sticks out like a sore thumb right there. But, like, You see how like when you start to add more and more to the group, it starts to make a little bit more sense. Yeah. The thing, like, if you had the spirit stone there, is you could paint that in a metallic and have that there. Because, like, in the past, what I've done is let's try this. Go. So whenever this stops playing. Just a cheeky advert. Oh god, and another one. There you go. So there's a different colour obviously going on here with the darker and the brighter. There you go. And that's done from spraying it with Chaos Black. But that is just like one. That is a theme. Right there. That is how I've done the Adeptus Mechanicus in the past. So a way to get some color into this guy, for example, would be to do I don't know, maybe do the faceplate. The faceplate in black, maybe something like that, or you know, to do like the spinal column in black or whatever. So yeah, like it's and this one. There you go. That's the. So Chaos Black, Sotek Green, Baharoth Blue, Corax White, Troll Slayer Orange, Leadbelt, Traquelia Green Shade, Nihilak Oxide, Astrogranite Debris, Ethereum Blue, and Valhallan Blizzard, and Chaos Black Primer. And it's done with those. So yeah, there you go. You see, Prime Black, and then Corax White is used to create the robes are a lot brighter. This scheme that we did on this Guardian would work really well on these guys because the Skitarii, because of how much detail there is to them. So the more detailed, the more edges, the more kind of different textures you have to a model, the better the concept can go. The less you have, the stronger the concept it needs to be, as it were. So like it would be, for example, it would make sense to do like stone guardians, make them out of stone. So just like dry brushing up from like black would be to use like greys and stuff. and Terminatus stone at the end of it to create like a stone texture. And you can even like throw in like some crackle paint as well over the top of them so that it crackles in places. And you can even use pigment powder and stuff like that in order to make them look like they're made of stone. But yeah, like just painting ghosts is just a lot of fun. It is just a lot of fun. It's just good vibes. I mean, look, this is where we got to with the King of the Dead. So he is the shading step and a dry brush away from being finished. So he's just that little bit different to these guys, but not too much different. You see? So like that's what I mean, is there's the two. How long have we got? We got 12 minutes. We could probably, do you know what? We can do it. Let's just do it. So the thing that's slightly different on him and the Army of the Dead is, and I didn't do it on the Guardian because again there isn't really space to do it, is using this to overbrush it. And I'll show you what I mean when I record it now. So I'll do it now, and we will, and you can see what it does, because it kind of sucks up some of the green and the blue, or the teal. Is probably more accurate to what the colours are. So let's grab the Null Oil. There we go. Right, so we need to thin these, and they're like a roughly 1-to-1 mix for each. So we'll do Poxwalker first. We'll do that here. 1, but I'm going to do 2 brush loads. So that's 1, 2 of Poxwalker, and then that's 1 and 2 of Coelia Green Shade, and then we need 1, 2, 1, 2 of each of the Lamia Medium into each of these. Mixing, mixing, mixing. And then it doesn't really matter, like I said, if they mix on the palette when you go between them. But you'll see what I mean. So I need to get rid of that. And this needs to be paused. And then we go to this screen. So with that all done, what we now need to do is add a couple, well, 3 shades, 2 of which are mixes, 1 of which is not. So our 3 shades are Poxwalker, Coelia Green Shade, and Nuln Oil. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a 1-to-1 mix of Poxwalker and Lamia Medium, a 1-to-1 mix of Coelia Green Shade and Lamia Medium, but Nuln Oil we're not going to touch. And then what we're going to do is we're going to apply this over the top of all the areas that we haven't already done. So I'm going to start here with some Poxwalker. And we're just going to apply this over the top, like so, of all the areas we haven't shaded, like so. And apply this like so, like this. And ultimately it doesn't really matter if we get this on any of the areas we have done, it's all ghostly in the end. So there's our bit of Poxwalker. Then we're just going to go straight to the palette and grab some of that Coelia Green Shade and just come in here and add that at the same time. Like so. Just applying this over top of the Athonian Camo Shade as well now, why not? There we go. Bit more Coelia Green Shade. Throw that in there. There we go. Like this. And then over the hair as well. We're then going to wash the brush and grab some Nuln Oil. And we just want 1 brush load of this basically. And we're just going to apply this over parts of the model where we've just shaded. So if we apply some just there like that, and we apply a little bit like that, And we do some here. And we'll do a little bit just there. Like so. Like that. And like that. And that is a fully shaded King of the Dead. So we'll just demonstrate that one more time on one of these heralds, for example. So we're going to wash the brush from our Nuln Oil and grab some of our Poxwalker mix. And we're just going to apply this like so over the top of the miniature until we feel like we're running out of paint. There we go. Then we're going to hop over to the Koila green shade. Apply that as well. Like so. Back to Poxwalker. Just throw this over the top of the shield and the back. Like that. Apply some of this over the top of that flag as well. There we go. And then wash the brush, grab that Nuln Oil, one brush load, and then apply some there, apply some there, there, around here. Just like that. There you go. Hello, Halethworth, son of Hammer. How are you? So we now need to do that over the top of another herald, another flag waver, and the rider. But if we... Good night, mini painting dad. Ready to not do thinking for a few hours. How are you, Mr. Josh? I'm very well, thank you. Today, I have nearly painted all of the Army of the Dead. And I'm pretty pleased with myself. So we've done 10. The king is nearly there. There's 15 models that I've nearly painted today. Well, 14 because we did one on Monday. You'll be pleased as well, Halethworth, son of Hammer. Because it's only 9 paints. Are you the shaded one? Yes. You should own all of them. Yeah, it's Briar Queen Chill, Poxwalker, Coelia Greenshade, Nuln Oil, Berserker Bloodshade, Targle Raidshade, Athonian Camoshade, Lamia Medium, and White Scar. Obviously, swap the white out to whatever you prefer. See, bribes work. Horse was still metal, right? It was indeed. Nobody bribes quite like you do, though, Haleth, son of Hammer. Yeah, but this is what I'm hoping to finish today. So all of the warriors are done. So I've got this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy to do. So it's 5 more models. And just for fun, we also did a Guardian as a ghost as well. You can barely tell. I'll show you the other thing I did yesterday. For the upcoming video. I'll show everybody this. So, do you know what I haven't done in a very long time? Is I haven't gone back to the basics. I haven't done classic painting, full classic painting, and that's what I did yesterday. There is only a single contrast paint that was used on all 10 of these guys, and it was Black Legion, because I'm not using Abaddon Black. That many 3 hunters is in the realm. Thank you. I think you were doing that list. I don't remember right. Yes, that is correct. The 3 hunters are here. 1, 2, and 3. Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn. We've got Halbarad, Eladan, Elrahir, on horse, and then the Rangers of the North as well. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, I know. But yeah, that's the other half of the video. which is going to take a little bit longer to do. So once I've done the Warriors and King of the Dead and all that good stuff, I will then probably do... I'll probably jump into I'll do the Rangers next, and then it'll just be character. Or I'll do Halberad next. But then it's two lists in one video, right? It's Grey Company. Well, it's technically 3, because you could do Arathorn's Last Stand as well. With Halberad. You'd have to do Arathorn. But I do have Arathorn. I have Arathorn and Halberad without banner as well. Here they are. What's the next list you're going to work on? After these two, it's probably going to be Moria or Rohan. But the Rohan one will be insane, because it's a case of, for Rohan, I need to do 12 Riders of Rohan, 9 Rohan Royal Guard, and then Eowyn/Dernhelm, Gamling, Elfhelm, Theodred, Freylaf, Olwyn, Leaf, Aragorn on horse, Legolas on horse, because they all go in. But there we go. Right, ladies and gentlemen, most of the horses are all done. Yeah, it's just doing the riders. So there's that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to come to a close. So we're gonna run off now. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're inspired to paint some ghosts. You can see how quick it is. It's very, very fun. It's very, very cool. And hopefully the Army of the Dead video / Grey Company video / 3 Hunters video isn't too far behind. It just depends on my time, which is very, very sparse at the moment. But yeah, have a good one. And I will see you all very soon in the next one. Tomorrow you should be able to see either Contrast Plus How to Paint Argent Shards or the Tzeentch Fate Master. Whichever one I deem worthy of editing in the morning. So those are the 2 videos that will be coming tomorrow and Friday. So I will see you later. Bye! You convinced me on my thought of my Ravenwing ghosting scheme. Do it, Fate Azura. It'll be sick. They're going so fast with the speed of the Raven that they look spectral. Sounds great. Anyway, I'm off now. Bye.